What's up, guys, and welcome to Habibaes,
where no topic is off the table.
I'm Rima.
And I'm Ahmad.
Today, we are going to talk about a topic that was actually sent in by one of you, and it is inspired by what has become our favorite TV show over the past couple of years, Love is Blind.
Yes.
So, we want to get into some of the questions, and I'll let Ahmad start.
The first question is, do you think physical attraction will develop after an emotional connection with someone and vice versa?
So I talk about this a lot. I don't ever want to speak in absolutes. I think people are very diverse with diverse experiences. From my experience, I find that a lot of women can start off not necessarily attracted to a guy and like grow attraction after getting to know him. Or maybe they've been friends with this guy for a long time and they never looked at him that way. And then they realize they like him. And once the emotions build, the attraction builds. I know I've had that happen to me. But it's hard for me to even name off the top of my head any guy that I know, obviously like assuming a heterosexual relationship. It's hard for me to think of any guy I know start off not being attracted and then build attraction over time. Not saying it doesn't exist. I just personally find that men, at least from my conversations, have to start off attracted. So I'm gonna pose the question to you, but have you had an experience where maybe you weren't attracted to someone, you built that attraction, or what do you think about it?
If I'm going to be honest, I agree with you. I think there has to be just a little bit of physical attraction to get our attention in the first place.
Yeah, and do you think that should be the case?
I mean, I don't know if it's a matter of should or shouldn't. I think it's human nature at this point.
Is it human nature?
I think it is, because how are you going to get attention to something if you're not attracted?
I think that there's like a lot of binaries being thrown out in these conversations of you're either attracted or unattracted. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you could not necessarily be attracted right away, but you can be in this gray area and build attraction. It's not that you're turned off by her, you're just not necessarily turned on. Do you think there could be a situation where you're not turned on by her, but as you get to know her personality, something else turns on emotionally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I think that was the case with you.
What you trying to say?
I'm just gonna say, like, out of respect for, because I've known your family for a while.
Right.
I'm best friends with your brother, right? Out of respect for the family, my initial intentions were never to look at you like that from a physical standpoint.
Right.
Right.
But if you all see the videos, because we've known each other forever.
Right.
Videos. He used to flirt with me, man. When I didn't think so at the time because I wasn't looking at him like that.
I don't know if it's called flirting. I'm just doing what I would do to anybody else.
Your subconscious brain.
Well, I don't have control of my subconscious, but I will tell you this: I can't control the subconscious.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
saying,
we're a great example.
I think for us, I was attracted to your mind, how you carry yourself, and the energy that you bring into the room. Like, your presence would always be felt. Hence, I would leave the room whenever you show up. When she'd come to visit, Ali, who was my roommate. It's, her and her family, they come to visit, like, all right, this is my kid. Let me just get out and give him some space. Because I could feel her.
You guys can drop a comment below. It sounds to me like the kid was feeling your girl, okay?
I was just boundaries.
Like
I was just respecting boundaries.
No, but I get what you're saying, though. I think it was exactly what you're saying, is that you just didn't look at me that way.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not someone that you find attractive. It's not that you were turned off by me.
I do find you attractive.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
And we'll talk about like all of that. But I was in the gray area. You weren't like looking at me that way. There was no lust involved when we knew each other. I was your best friend's little sister. You didn't see me that way.
Right.
But it grew into something after getting to know my personality.
I think the answer is yes. I think you are able to develop a physical attraction after you build an emotional connection.
But okay, so let's like dissect our situation. Because in our situation, it was like 7 years of me just being Ali's little sister, me thinking you were annoying, me and you fighting.
I think you're a bad example because you're already beautiful.
But that's in your eyes though, boo. You will have men that look at me, and we'll get into this, who think I'm not, boo. And there's girls that look at you and think you ain't shit too, believe it or not. There will be women watching this, or men who like men, watching this who look at you and you're not their type. Ahmad gets upset when I snatch things.
Yes.
So I'm working on it. But
it's just plain rude.
Yeah, go on.
How does that make you feel when I just snatched it? Do you guys snatch things if you do put it down in the comments. Let us know if you think it's rude or not.
I didn't realize that I used to do that.
I think I would have my phone or whatever, and she would just let me see. Like,
I
whoa!
didn't realize that I did that. What exactly defines physical attraction to you? Is it lust? Is it physical appearance? Is it someone's body? Like, what to you is physical attraction?
That is a great question. It's beauty.
Okay.
It's the way your body is formed,
Okay.
different shapes, colors, texture.
Do you want to say more?
Just keeping a very high level.
Like when you've been, you don't need to make it about me right now, okay?
It's not about you, I'm just saying.
When you are attracted to somebody. Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't even think I've ever told you that. Like, I've never dated or talked to anyone who's actually my physical type. So for me, personally, like, I've always developed way more attraction, physical attraction, to somebody through emotional connection. I've never been able to just think somebody's quote unquote hot and that just be enough for me to want to talk to them. And in fact, I have thought people were quote unquote hot, and then after 2 sentences, just my body just completely lost all attraction because I didn't feel mentally or emotionally or intellectually stimulated by the person.
I think emotional connection is what sustains a relationship.
Yeah, agree.
You know, when your relationship is based on an emotional connection, there's more wiggle room or volume, right, to sustain a relationship versus if it's a physical one, you don't have that much room to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If I'm understanding what you're saying, it's like there are only so many connection points to be had when it's all about how somebody looks
Physical,
or how much you lust for them. It's a positive emotion or a positive connection when you happen to lust for them or want to appreciate how they look. But when you're struggling and you need someone to support you, or when you have a really good idea and you need someone to talk through it with, like that physical
when you
connection.
get into life, when you get into actual life, that physical connection is meaningless.
Yeah. Is it acceptable to discuss physical attraction or a lack thereof to people in your life about your partner?
Discussing physical attraction, yes. Discussing the lack of physical attraction about your partner to somebody else, I think that's tricky. I think that's disrespectful to your partner.
Why is it not disrespectful to your partner to also talk about being attracted, like your physical attraction to them?
Because you're just sharing your praise.
But what's bad? I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to understand like both sides of it. Like, I kind of just feel like it's either off the table or on the table. Like you either are going to say good, like if you are discussing anything, then you're discussing whatever you're feeling. And if you think it's inappropriate, then you just shouldn't be discussing it.
Well, I think it also depends how it's going to make that person look. Okay. Because now, remember the situation when somebody else is in the room and they know things about you that they don't know that they know about you?
I can't.
You know what I mean?
So we're bringing this up specifically, and I'm sure this person submitted this question because of Sheikh and Deepti's story on Love is Blind. So if you're watching this, you probably watched it. And he was just literally telling everyone and their mother how unattracted he was to Deepti, and even likening his attraction to her, or likening his relationship to her with one of like his aunts or a relative or whatever. And on one hand, like, he was being honest.
He has every right to feel that.
He has every right to feel that way and maybe unpack why he's feeling that way and work through why he's feeling that way. But on national television.
And to her friends.
And his friend. Like, so that's the thing where it gets a little bit tricky, because I personally think that I don't think it's inappropriate to discuss my attraction or lack thereof with a trusted confidant or friend. Does that possibly make you... I know you disagree, but like for me, it's like, what if I'm trying to work through something?
Do it with a therapist. What are you going to do with homework? I'm going to meet up later.
I mean, listen, what I think is that I think it's very normal for somebody to want to talk to, let's say my cousin Dina. Dina's like my sister. And I'm trying to work through attraction or lack of attraction or something, just like I would any other big issue in a relationship, with someone who I trust wants what's best for me and you. They're not going to look at you or laugh at you or make fun of you. Is it potentially disrespectful to you or embarrassing? I could see how you'd feel that way. So I think both things can be true. Like, I could have all of the best intentions trying to confide in somebody in something that's very private and confusing that I can't work through alone and definitely can't work through with you. or maybe I'm assuming I can't work through it with you, right? But I understand Sheikh's desire to talk about it. I just felt like he could have used his better judgment and not talked about it, knowing he was being recorded.
You could have talked to somebody offline, I guess. Somebody who was completely out of the circle, out of Deepti's circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe one of his friends from back home, someone who wasn't with him in front of the camera that the world was going to see. So I felt like that was very eye-opening. Just mean. Like, I feel like the way that he did it was mean, with no regard to how it was going to make her feel. But again, I think a lot of the hatred towards Sheikh comes from his lack of attraction to Deepti, and I think that's stupid. Like, he has a right to be attracted or not attracted to her. Why he's attracted or not attracted to her obviously seems like it has its own issues, but he has a right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way he went about it was wrong, but he shouldn't be shunned for how he actually feels.
Have you ever had a partner that you didn't initially find attractive, but did after you got to know them? I think we kind of touched on that.
Yeah, no.
So Ahmed hasn't had that. I've had that. I've definitely talked to guys in the past who I wasn't, I'd known them and I wasn't at all attracted to them. And I just admitted that every single person I've talked to or developed an attraction to, I was not initially attracted. But there were even people who I was unattracted to. I truly felt like there was no way I'd be attracted to them. And through an emotional connection, I was able to become physically attracted to them. And again, I do think society makes women and men different in that way. I don't think it's a natural thing like Sheikh tries to say that it is. But I do think we're able to weigh our emotions a lot more than maybe physical preference.
I think also maturity comes into place because, my priorities were different back in the day. So I would lead with the physical stuff.
Yeah.
Because once again, my priorities weren't aligned with how they are today.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
But if I was at this age, and I mean, the same way I approached you, that you could feel that shift in maturity, and then I approached you in a different way.
Right.
In my opinion, the right way.
Yeah.
Intangible things that will make a relationship strong.
I'm gonna ask you this first, and then I'll answer.
Yeah.
Is Sheikh as problematic as everyone is saying he is?
I mean, you're talking to somebody who used to like the situation watching Jersey Shore.
Who used to like what? The situation? Oh my god. Forget entertainment. Forget the shows. Forget entertainment because he's definitely entertaining. But as a person, if he was in your circle or if he was near your circle, would you see him as problematic as everybody sees him?
I think he would need a lot of, I don't want to say counseling because who am I to counsel the guy, but he does need some good people in his circle to feed him that good energy. And not just that, just like you said, just basic akhlaq. He just needs to be around respectable people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're entitled to how you feel, but
answer the question, boo. Is he as problematic as everyone says he is?
I mean, who am I to judge, boo?
Boo, this is the whole point. We're creating a video talking about him. I
mean, he's rough on the edges, but nothing that can't be fixed.
Just answer. Is it a yes or no? Is it an in between? Just answer.
That's an in between question. It's not a yes or no question.
Okay, it's an in between. So then answer.
Definitely in between.
So he's not. So you're saying he's not as problematic.
Would I hang out with him? Yes, I would. Do I approve of his ways? No, I do not.
Men are interesting like
but
that.
But I do. We're in Hollywood.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I work with that I do not approve of their ways.
Do you all notice that, for a lot of male friendships, they're able to ignore huge character flaws in people? I'm not just talking about shape.
Okay.
Huge character. Maybe we're just more judgmental than women. I'm not saying there's a right and wrong way. I just have noticed. I'm just saying that guys.
You're kind of generalizing. Now. When you say overlooking, there's a broad spectrum.
You would probably be friends with somebody who, in 10 years, you know that he cheated on his wife, and you don't condone it, and you don't think it's okay, and he has his mistress around, and they cheat on their wife, and you think it's wrong, and you don't want to raise your kids that way, blah blah blah, but you'll stay friends with him. I don't know.
At a distance.
Okay.
At a distance, there are some people that I would welcome into my home. There are some people that I would keep at a distance. You know what I mean?
Would you welcome Sheikh into our home?
No.
Okay. Me either. So I'll answer.
There's a lot of people I don't welcome to the home.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Sheikh, my answer is I do not think he's as problematic as everyone is making him seem. Do I think he's problematic? Yes. Would I ever be friends with Sheikh? No. But here's how I feel about him, and here's kind of my issue with the way that they are, like, by they I mean social media, even the host of Love is Blind, their reunion. I mean, he's villainizing himself in some ways, so definitely, like, he's making it easy to hate him. However, I just feel like you have the super abusive white boy sitting one seat down that nobody wants to talk about. Like,
is that about Shane?
Yeah, and I know that Shane has a very likable personality for whatever reason.
You think he's on coke?
I don't know what he's on, dude, but like, there's literally no excuse. Well, I really can't tell what this guy's on. He is so emotionally abusive, dude. There were so many situations where the guy is a straight up abusive person. I wouldn't be surprised if he was also abusive in other ways. And nobody is talking about that. And it just kind of bothers me from a race perspective that we want to villainize the brown guy, who very much so is a douchebag and a jerk and an asshole, and not talk about the white guy who's abusive just because he apologizes every time he says some effed up stuff, right? And that kind of bothers me. Why are you looking like that?
There was a lot of apologies everywhere.
And he makes everyone feel bad for him. It's like
his
it's like a Sour Patch Kid. They come in, they like, you know those commercials where they cut off all your hair and then they just hug you after?
Yeah.
And you want to, like,
and everybody forgets it. So many times people kept saying sorry. Sorry, I own that. And then Shayna, sorry, I own that. 100%. 100%, I own that. 100%.
No, her lips don't even move that much.
100%. Like, everybody's owning it and saying sorry and owning it 100%.
Ain't nobody owning shit.
But nobody showed love to our boy Shake. Well,
yeah.
My boy Shake.
Let me tell you about Shake, okay? It's a lot of Shakes all around us, especially in the Arab community. Like, there's a lot of Shakes. And Shake's issue is a very typical case of internalized hatred. Shake hates his identity as an Indian man.
He's uncomfortable.
But it's a form of hatred, boo. It's a form of internalized hatred. It's internalized racism. You've taken what other people have said about you and your people and you've internalized it, and it's a form of self-loathing and self-hatred. And so you cannot possibly love or feel attracted to the brown woman that you're talking to because you don't even love or feel attracted to that part of yourself. So you need to go and find something else, specifically white woman in his case, to validate that you're worthy of love. Like, you don't feel that way from your own community. And to make it less theoretical, like when I was growing up, all the Arab guys, I know there's women in this audience for sure that have had the same exact experience. They all went for the white girls. And so, believe it or not, like, growing up, a lot of us questioned whether we were beautiful, questioned whether we were desirable, worthy. Like, there were so many self-worth issues that came from that, of just feeling like we're ugly, because of course we have to be ugly, otherwise they would like us. And that's a whole nother conversation of why we needed that validation to begin with. We're not going to get into that, but yeah, it is important for somebody to feel loved and attractive and, you know, wanted by especially the men in their own community or the people in their own community. And like, as much as I can't stand that is the case, at some point you just have to stop waiting around for them to see you and like just see yourself, you know? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know, you make an interesting point. I just realized that is another benefit of having your kids spend a lot of time overseas.
Yeah.
Like, at least in their teenage years, growing up and like what you experienced, I didn't experience that because when I was developing those hormones, right, I was growing up in Lebanon with people that kind of look, you know,
just like you,
similar to me.
Right.
And I didn't feel that much extremism from the way I look. I mean, yeah, I did get the whole, you're Afridi, you know, but it's like, I think it's a lower scale than people experience it here.
You're more affirmed in your racial identity around people who look like you, or, you know, in communities where you're the norm.
Very similar backgrounds and cultures. And,
and so the reason I'm bringing that up is because Sheikh is very much so a lot of Arab guys as well, and not making excuses.
They were born and raised here.
Yeah, that's what Sheikh says in the show. Is I came to America and I saw snow and blondes, and I was just like, and it's like, okay, Habibaes, tfaddal. But basically, it's just like it is frustrating. But there is a part of me that feels kind of bad for him, because how does that feel to him going home at night every night and going to sleep, knowing he doesn't even like who he is. Like, to me, that was sad. And I did feel like he was trying to change. Okay, that is another thing that I'll say is I did feel like he was trying to unpack it and trying to change. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight, and haram should not come at the expense of him humiliating and mortifying her in front of the world. Like, it should not come at that expense. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm happy it came at that expense, but I am happy we're talking about this because he's not the only one. He's just someone who was a lot too honest about it.
Case in point, he's now in Miami chilling with a blondie.
Oh my God.
And he put her on his Instagram. Like, did you?
I mean, to each their own. I know. I guess my follow-up to you is, like, why is there so much emphasis on him being attracted to Deepti, or like him being attracted to someone else?
They're under the microscope, for sure, compared to the other couples. Like, nobody's talking about what Shayna did. Went behind Natalie's back, stabbed her in the back, talked to Shane, trying to tell her, questioning with the
relationship. Let me be real, like, you remember all that stuff that happened? Mallory was not
Mallory's
attracted to
cheating
Sal.
ass, talking to Jared, and Jared, what Jared pulled?
Mallory was not attracted to Sal, let's be real. Shayna saw Kyle, wanted to sprint in the other direction because she was unattracted to him. None of them vocalized it out loud, which maybe in your opinion was more diplomatic of them or more kind of them. But in my opinion, like, they were lying when they said, no, I find him really attractive. No, like, you could tell that they were not attracted to the other person. Let's say me and you aren't together, and someone that you find attractive doesn't find you attractive.
Let it go.
Right. So, okay, let's say you're talking to somebody or you took someone out on a date or whatever, and she ends up not feeling attracted to you. How would you want her to say, like, would you want her to say it? Like, how would you want that to happen?
I would appreciate it if she'd be straight up.
Yeah.
And let me know from the start.
Right.
Because then you can change that relationship.
Right.
From trying to make an intimate one to making it a friendly one.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing I was struggling the most with is why is everyone's ego flaring up so much because somebody doesn't think they're attractive? I know it brings up a lot of maybe old feelings, but I mean, if someone felt like I wasn't attractive or I wasn't their type, which definitely like has happened, like people have either again, back to my thing about men, I don't think they start talking to you if you're not their type, which is lame, but like if you're not their physical type, they don't really engage. But I'm sure there are situations where someone didn't engage or didn't approach me or whatever because I'm not their type, right? Just because someone is not attracted to you does not mean you are not attractive. You're still an attractive person to the right people. Yeah. And so just because Shake's weird, crazy self is not attracted to Deepti doesn't mean she's not attractive. And I feel like there was just way too much emphasis on why isn't he attracted to her? Why isn't he attracted to her? And it's like,
she's a beautiful soul.
Yeah, everyone kept saying she's a beautiful soul. Yeah, I mean, the girl wants to hear she's beautiful. Just say it. Like, and then with the hosts, it's like they're trying to drill this experiment. Like they're drilling it in everybody's heads, and it's like it didn't work on him. And they're like, then why'd you come to the show? Okay,
he was trying
to see. Yeah. He was trying to. It's a hypothesis. That's a freaking experiment. You test the hypothesis. He tried to test the hypothesis, and I don't know. Maybe he didn't try. Maybe that's the point that they were making. I also definitely witnessed him being real with her, not as real as he was with other people, but real with her about being not attracted to her. And maybe she also assumed that it would grow. I don't know. Like, I feel like he tried. I really do feel like he was trying. Do I like him? No. Again, I don't like him. I think he's an asshole. I feel like a lot of the stuff he did was really, really, really messed up. And I think she has every right to not even want to be his friend after rewatching that. I would never be somebody's friend after rewatching that. I could never trust what they're saying or thinking or whatever behind my back. So I get both sides of it, but I felt that it was a little cruel the way that the hosts came down on him for being a dissenting voice. It's like they're trying to create this utopia, and if you don't get with it, you need to get lost. The last question, is love blind?
No.
Okay.
Love is blurry. For damn sure love is blurry.
What do you mean by that?
I think you need to have just a little bit of visibility.
So let's say you were in the pods. First of all, would you ever go in the pods? In another life, like if you were 40, because I know how you are.
You know, I got a chance to go on a reality TV show and I turned it down. It's just not my cup of tea.
Ahmad was gonna be. Can I say?
No.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say.
It's a very, very popular reality TV show in which the winner will end up with a partner for life. Let me just put it that way. And
I wouldn't.
the contract was in front of
So
me.
wait, you have to marry the person after that show?
Or they marry you, but one of them. But it's like if you win. But yeah, but then like because I'm an actor, what I told you, because I'm an actor, and then if once you do a reality TV show, you will never be taken seriously in this industry. So I was like, yeah, I know what I want.
Right.
Not this. Quick fame is not the answer.
Yeah.
But in another world,
if you were on,
if I was in the pods,
yeah.
Okay. What was your question?
If you were in the pods and you fell in love with a girl's personality, because that's obviously all you have, her soul, her personality, her spirit, she makes you, how she makes you feel about yourself, like all of those things. Let's say you guys exited the pods. So again, there's the binary, like there's just turned off, there's turned on immediately, and then there's like a huge gray area. Chances are you could sit in that gray area, right? Like
you can.
So let's just say she's in the gray area. Maybe she doesn't turn you on immediately. She's not your type, whatever that even means. And you see her and she's somewhere here. Like, what are your
If she's in the gray area, I think there's definitely an opportunity.
Okay.
Because then I think the emotional connection will outweigh the physical down the road.
Okay, I see.
That's.
So now you're saying if there's just whatever it is, and honestly, like everyone has that thing that is a non-negotiable, or that they claim is a non-negotiable, which we can talk about too, physically, right? If let's say she came out and there was one of those things that to you just happens to be a physical non-negotiable. In your boy Shane's words, if she doesn't have any teeth, that would have been the. Do you remember when he said that? Whatever it is.
Well, that's still gray area.
If she doesn't have
people
teeth.
fix teeth all the time. If she has an amazing personality and the teeth are messed up, girl, I got a dentist down the road. Let's get you some veneers. Get your Hollywood smile and you're set.
All right, so let's say whatever it happens to be, that's a huge turn off to you. Like, what would you do? You don't believe that you could love that person?
Depends what the huge turnoff is. Once again, it's a gray area. There's a lot of things that are fixable.
Right.
But I think there's a very small percentage of things that are probably a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
I don't want to get into details like that.
So love is blurry, yeah.
But I think for the majority of it, I think everything is fixable.
Okay. Well,
like adjustable.
I'm gonna be very honest.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be with someone who's not tall. Like that was a thing for me.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I never thought I would. Well, no.
Because everybody in my family is tall.
Everyone in my family is tall. I'm not short. I'm 5'7", so I felt like, oh my God, like I need a tall guy, right? And so for me, like, I don't want to lie and say it was a non-negotiable because obviously it's not a non-negotiable, but it would have been one of those things that I thought was a non-negotiable. So we'll talk about that because I'm sure you guys are interested in how that worked out, right? But like for me, to answer the question quickly, like I think love can be very blind. However, do I think attraction is blind? No. And I think those are two very different things. I think that I could fall in love, forget the height thing, because that's not the biggest non-negotiable to me. There are definitely other huge non-negotiables that I would assume are physical non-negotiables. If I was in a pod and I fell in absolute love, head over heels with someone's personality, and we came out and met each other, and whatever he looked like physically was completely non-negotiable, I was completely turned off, I'm not going to lose love for that person because I'm not attracted to them. I'm still going to love them.
Love as in be with them?
I don't know. And that's what I'm saying. To me, I think love can be blind. But yeah, that's what, to Sheikh's point, I feel like Sheikh loved Deepti. I feel like he did. He expressed it in a really messed up way. And love can also be very abusive. So just because he was so abusive doesn't mean he didn't love her. Freaking Natalie and Shane are a perfect example of that. But I think he loved her and he was trying to find the attraction and he couldn't. I'm sure that would be probably what happened to me if I fell in love with someone, then I saw them. And this happens when people get catfished all the time. The person comes, they're not attracted to them. And it's hard to build. I don't know that maybe I wouldn't be able to build that attraction. I really don't know. We can go back to the height thing. So I thought it was a non-negotiable. Why did I think it was a non-negotiable? If I really unpack it, is because I had this assumption that if you are my height or shorter than me, then you're insecure about that as a man. I know. And you challenge that. Like you're not to say that he's the first guy I've ever met. I'd never given it a chance to see whether it's true or false. I always had this assumption because there were maybe people who validated that assumption that maybe they're my height or shorter and they were, to be fair, there's men that were twice my height who were insecure about other shit. People are just insecure about their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But with you,
until I came along.
Until you came along.
Well, how could you not?
I mean, yeah, but I really thought, I wondered, like, am I going to feel a way about this? When I see him, like, is it going to feel weird? Blah, blah, blah. And it didn't. Like, I didn't feel weird about it. But there were things in the back of my head. And I remember one time I asked you when we were hanging out. And I tried to say it, like, so casually, you guys, because I was so, like, nervous about his answer. And I was like, do you care that we're, like, the same height? And then you were like, no, I love that you're tall.
I do.
I love that you're tall. I love when you wear heels. I love when I was just like so happy to hear that
it's presence.
And you want to know
why?
Take
the presence. Yeah.
Guys, I was so like cool with that. I don't even know if do you remember this?
What?
Do you remember the moment?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, because I was trying to act like cool, but I was nervous because I thought he was gonna be like, I mean, no, but like if you wear heels, it'll be weird. And I was, if he would have said,
I said
never said that.
Yeah.
But I have heard of situations where a woman and a man are either the same height like us or she's taller maybe, and he doesn't want her to wear heels. And to me, that is just the epitome of you're literally telling me to minimize myself or to play small for your ego. And that would have turned me off so bad. So I guess in summary, it's less about your height and more about your attitude about certain physical characteristics.
That's like having a drop top Porsche and never dropping the top.
With heels?
Yeah.
I don't even like heels like that. But I want to be able to wear them when I want to wear them without wondering if he's insecure or not. And he's not. Like it's fun. Like for me, it's just whatever. Like he's very confident. So it gives me confidence to be my full self without,
which I love.
Without feeling like I need to like tone things down. I forget about height right now. Like personality wise, I don't want to tone anything down. I don't want to tone anything down. I want to be my full self in a relationship. And for me, the most attractive thing about you is that you never, ever, ever want me to tone down how loud I laugh or how, bossy I could be when I want to be.
No, because I like it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love is, I guess, we're both
blurry.
Kind of coming to that conclusion in different ways.
Say it. I need you to say it.
No, I don't want to say it.
I need you to say love is blurry.
Love is blind. Attraction is blurry. That's my opinion. All right. So the final question to round this out is, what is the one takeaway you got from Love is Blind Season 2?
As shallow as it may seem, physical attraction will always play a part in love. Just because when I look at the outcome of the couples that actually stayed together are the ones that had that when physical attraction.
Love or a relationship. There's two different things. You can love people and still not be in a relationship with them.
Well, we gotta see how long they last. But the ones that claim that they love one another and are in a relationship and got married, that they took the risk to take the next step, there was some physical attraction there.
For sure.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to Habibaes, where no topic is off the table. I'm Ahmad.
I'm Rima.
And we'll see you again next week. Thanks.